Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we're looking into your month of April as well as Aries season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful and kindred spirits here on the channel. It's always wonderful to have you guys back here today, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel, it's also wonderful to have you guys here too. Today we are going to be looking into your month of April as well as Aries season. Regardless of if you are Aries or not, this is still going to apply to you, and if you are an Aries out there, happy birthday to you. And we are going to be looking into this to really dive deep into everything with the charms and the cards and all of that here in just a moment. But I do want to let you know that if you want to dive deeper into anything that we talk about here today, which definitely take your time choosing these piles because they all had similar energies but went different directions. So take your time, maybe choose more than one pile if you need to. But point is, they do have a lot of really big themes going on, so if you're interested in getting a much deeper dive into some of the stuff going on here, then definitely feel free to reach out for a snail mail reading where I send a letter to you, typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, to you in the mail, for you to really dive and look deeper into a particular question or query or theme that's been happening in your life at this time. Lots of helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram that you can check out, and if you're interested in more information, definitely feel free to reach out through a DM over on Instagram or by sending me an email, and I'm happy to send more information your way. But those are a great way for you really to dive into those deeper details. And if you're interested in the other more custom things that I do on this channel, I do have custom sets of spell and ritual papers that you can reach out for if you have a particular theme of sets of papers you'd love to receive for your spells and rituals. If you're interested in getting your own custom charm casting cloth for you, I have an entire video on how you can build your own charm set and work with charms if that's something you're interested in. But if you already have a charm set, this is a great place to start as well. And if you're interested in the carved handmade stamps that I create, that I design stamp designs for you, or if you have particular symbols or sigils that you work with already that I can hand carve for you and send your own stamp your way for you to use over and over and over again in your art magic, in your grimoires, in your personal spells and rituals, however you wish to use them, or even just because you like the look of them, then feel free to reach out. But with that all said, those are great ways to support yourself as well as to support this channel, and it really goes a long way. So thank you to anyone who has reached out and who would like to reach out in the future. But we're going to go ahead and look at the piles here. So 3 different piles to choose from. Here for pile number 1, if you're feeling called to this particular set of cards, it may be because you're feeling called to this amethyst. Has little rainbows and interesting little shades, so if that's something you're interested in, that's pile 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to this one, it may be because you're really feeling called to this strawberry quartz, similar to rose quartz, but it is more of a strawberry color and tone. So if you're feeling called to that one, that's pile number 2. And last but not least here, we have what is meant to be citrine, I'm pretty sure, but is also probably just dyed amethyst or heated up amethyst. So however you wish to look at this one, this little yellow stone, if you're feeling called to it, then that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment, so you can connect with your guides, so you can check in with each of the piles. As I mentioned, they all are so vastly different, yet have this long line through each of them. So taking your time with each of them, or however you wish. If you just want to use this as a moment to take a small little break, then feel free to. But let's take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile, change your mind, flip-flop, take little bits and pieces, however you wish. All of the timestamps are down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video for your convenience. And as I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to support yourself and support this channel, there are many, many ways to do it. Through those snail mail readings, the custom designed papers that I do, hand carved stamps, as well as your own custom charm casting cloth. So all of the information for that you can find or reach out for. And we're going to go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of amethyst, then this is the pile for you, as today we are going to be exploring your month of April to see the biggest blessings coming forward, energies that are going to be most in your favor, things to maybe be cautionary about, and we're also going to be looking into relationship messages, charms, and also your Aries season. So even if you're not an Aries out there, this is still going to apply to you. But if you are an Aries, happy birthday to you. I am at the very cusp of Taurus and Aries, so I do feel this energy as well. But we are going to get started here. We're going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks, and the main tarot deck actually being the Winnie the Pooh Wisdom of the Pooh tarot, which I haven't really used a lot on this channel because weirdly, it just took me a while to really connect with this deck, even though I absolutely love Winnie the Pooh. So sometimes that just is how it goes, but I was really feeling called to it for you guys here today, so we're going to be pulling that out. But all of the different decks and supplies, as always, will be listed down below for you all. But we're going to get right on into it, looking into the biggest and highest energies coming forward here, the biggest themes for the month of April. So definitely feel free to send your energy into the deck here. Call in your guides, get cozy, get comfy. It's a beautiful day outside at the window that I'm looking at right now, and I'm feeling so inspired. So let's see what you got going on for the month of April. Group 1, the month of April. First off, you're starting off strong here with the 9 of Swords here. So I want to see what else is accompanying this. You've got the Knight of Chocolate Pentacles. It's so whimsical and fun, with Rabbit here. And what else is going on for you, group? Group 1. Okay, so you also have here the I always have a hard time reading the Roman numerals, so it takes me a second, but the 7 of Wands here. So, okay, 9, 7, a Knight of Chocolate Pentacles. Okay, so why I said it felt like the start of this month really felt like the biggest energy really is a bit of anxiety and a bit of nervousness, things that are keeping you up at night, the heffalumps, if you will. The things that you're just nervous and scared, you're going over scenario after scenario, spiraling, ruminating, looking at all of the different directions something could go. And the thing about this, even if we know logically that that's probably not that helpful for us, it doesn't mean that we aren't still going to probably find ourselves in those loops. So trying to find ways to combat those, as you can see, the different characters here of Piglet and Christopher Robin here are fighting back at this heffalump. So in this case, I really feel like even though you have a lot of energy and nervous energy going on here, I do see you still like finding ways to combat those racing thoughts, those spiraling thoughts, and trying to push back against them, especially since you also have the Knight of Pentacles, which tells me that maybe the reason why you're feeling this too is the Knight of Pentacles, or Chocolate Pentacles here, loves to say they're moving forward, but they're just going round and round and round on this little ride here. Like this little carousel. So even though it seems like the knight is like racing forward and charging forward on their horse, they're really just going round and round and round, doing the same thing over and over and over. And this can be a really good thing, right? The Knight of Pentacles can talk about us being productive and staying on task and keeping, to the task at hand, and making sure that we are, being not only productive, but preparing for the things ahead. And in this case, you're really preparing, you're spiraling through some of those thoughts, you're making sure you're really prepared, but you're almost overly prepared to the point that you're ready to get off the ride. And so what follows this heffalump nervous energy and this feeling of going around and around in the same thing, the same circles, the same stuff, is a need to kind of change it up a little bit. And the 7 of Wands here shows Pooh trying to get all the way up to the top of this tree to get to the honey that lies at the top with this little hive. And it says, he climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed, and he sang a little song to himself. And so this also tells me too that like you're going to have kind of an uphill battle this month. Like there's going to be things that are going to be in your way. You have the anxiety, you have the feeling of that nervous energy, you're wanting to change it up. And so when you do decide to change something, make a big change, do something a little bit differently, deviate from the carousel path, get off the ride, the moment you do, right, you don't have a perfect path to follow anymore, right? He's just sort of haphazardly climbing, but he's continuing to climb anyway because there's a goal in mind. There's something that he has that he values more than staying where he is. And so that's sort of where I'm feeling for you guys too, is this month you're going to find something you value more than staying on the carousel, more than the comforts of staying put, more than the ease of the carousel ride, and rather actually taking the training wheels off. There's a bit of like this energy of you having to kind of trust in yourself and trust in the goal that you have in mind, trust in the passion and drive that is moving you forward, which we will talk about more as we move into Aries season, because Aries season is all about kind of leading ourselves, bringing our passions forward, using our own personal drive. And so I'm curious to see what comes forward, but let's go ahead and see an energy that's most in your favor. Since you've got a lot of the things feeling like it's kind of against you, let's see an energy that's more in your favor this month, a blessing, maybe from guides even. So let's see what that is for you. Group 1. Okay, so you have notice. What can I learn from observation? So what I like about the crow here is they also have like this halo over the top of them that I always think of like as a little orange slice. And the orange slice to me relates to a lot of the symbology of oranges being about joy and presence and happiness and like, yeah, just a joyous feeling. And so if that is the crown of this, it's to notice the joys in your life, to notice the celebrations in your life, to celebrate the small little wins. Yeah, like maybe it's not the biggest leap that you're doing, maybe it's not the biggest climb that you could be taking on, but even a small deviation from the path that you've been winding yourself into, or that jack-in-the-box feeling of winding up like a jack-in-the-box toy, like this is you noticing that there's more than just the struggle, there's more than just the climb, that there's a lot of beautiful flowers on the climb to the top of the mountain too. There's a lot of beautiful birds to enjoy, there's songs to sing, there's lots of ways in which you can still deviate from the path and have a good time. And I think that that's you noticing more of that this month. And crow is sort of an energy you could look into as well. It also says, yeah, what can I learn from observation? So what could you learn from observation too, by observing your environment, observing those small wins, observing those small joys, and really growing them, using them as fuel to drive you forward too. It's crazy how much noticing and allowing yourself to have a mindset shift towards things can make such a big difference, right? It can be raining and pouring outside, but maybe you notice how that is, helping the land to continue to grow, or that's clearing the muddy air that's been, moving around you, right? There's a lot of things that change can bring forward that may seem really scary and difficult and harder than before, harder than what you're used to. But this new adventure, this new climb that you're going to be taking on might take you to places that are difficult, but also places that you could notice really beautiful gifts on the path too. So I want to also look into an energy for relationships this month and look to see how those are going. So this is going to be like an overarching message, but if you have a particular relationship you want to look into, you're welcome to send that in as well. But for the month of April, what do relationships sort of look like? The energy of the relationships in which you are around and surrounded by. You have adapt. You will get yourself where you want to be. And you also have be present, use the hours, don't count them. And that's even what I was talking about here with this too, is like you're observing things, being present in things, not taking yourself out of the moment, but being in the moment with other people, really noticing. And crows are also very chatty and they build really tight bonds with those that are within their family and their flock, and their murder of crows. sort of group. And so I feel like this is an opportunity as well for you to notice those relationships and how they are bringing joy and care and help and assistance in your life too. They can be a beautiful resource. Use the hours, don't count them. Also, that makes me think too, like if you have friends in your life, you're not trying to have more and more and more. Rather, just notice the value of just the one friend maybe you have, or the one resource that you have, or the one relationship. Not trying to gain more, but rather have good quality of friends and people in your corner. And then you also have adapt. You will get yourself where you want to be with these little roses here. It also makes me think, because there are two roses, that like, again, it's working together with another person, that someone could bring you a lot of joy and resources that maybe you need at this time, the help that you need at this time. And so, and timing being a big part of it as well, with all of the symbology here. So this is also a month to really lean on your friends, ask for help, ask for assistance. If you're having a difficult time, help them sort out some of those thoughts, the ruminations that are going on here, or to distract you and move you towards a different goal, so that you can continue to adapt. And you could also find that these relationships are also going to be ones that continue to adapt and grow over the month too. That you might notice some of the ways in which your friendships are leveling up, changing, adapting, going different directions, but coming back in other ways. And that's totally okay and a very normal thing to have happen. So I want to look into the Aries season for you now. And Aries season, like I talked about earlier, with the passion that you are growing, the thing that you are leading yourself towards, I find that Aries season is a very good time to lead yourself. They are like naturally born leaders, and not just leaders for other people, but also leaders for themselves, and to bring out your own skills, bring out your own passions, your desires, and fuel yourself. Springtime season with Aries season on top of it is a great time to get, motivation and a passion towards what you want to be led forward toward, what you want to plant into your world. So I want to look into what plants are growing here for you. You have the pimpernel, as well as it's got a little compass here too, which is interesting with the sundial. Lots of tools showing up here. Anything else? Which is kind of funny too, because I was thinking about the tools. And and you got moonwort too, with more tools, with a key here. But what I wanted to say is that I feel like crows, right? They like little shiny trinkets and little human-made things, and they'll take them back and use them, and they're very inquisitive. And so I also think that this season is about finding the tools that you need, finding like particular tools to help you climb, make the climb easier, whether that's a friend, right, or a family member or a close person that you really trust, using some of their, well, not using, but asking for help for their particular resources and skills and the things that they could help you with. The things like, maybe they have a ladder, to help you climb this tree. Maybe they have a suit so that you don't get stung by the bees, right? There's a lot of things that we try to do on our own, and it's only going to be harder if we do it on our own. And so this is a reminder for you this month to, stay closer to the flock. Try to really ask for the help that you need. And I feel like Aries season is just only fueling that more and giving you opportunities as well. You might find synchronicities of like someone coming back into your life that you haven't talked to in quite a while, that is like the perfect timing for them to have come back into your life because they have the right skills, or you can talk to them about anything, or like whatever it may be. It just feels very synchronous. I get that too. So I think I'm not actually going to go into a lot of like the folklore of moonwort and pimpernel, but feel free to look deeper into them if you want to. But just the fact that you got two of them with like both the key and the compass tells me that, and the observation that you have going on with crow just tells me that this is the time for you to be observant, and observant of your surroundings, and observant of the people and ways in which you could change your mindset or help yourself in some way, or get help from others to help in your particular situation where things have just been kind of going round and round and round and not changing the way that you'd hoped. So let's finish off your reading by pulling you a few charms and then seeing what they have to say. So feel free to have a little chit chat with them, and I'll pull some for you. Okay, interesting. So you did get quite a few little chunky charms, which is kind of fun. You got the number 2 showing up here at the beak of the crow, which is, where we would speak and how we talk. And crows love to talk, right? They love to talk. And so when I'm looking at this too, it tells me that, again, you're really having conversations about things that you've been noticing, things you've been noticing in your own life, things that you have goals towards. You really want to talk to someone and share your observations, your joys, the tools you need, right? And getting a more logical perspective, a different perspective from someone else too, could be really useful and helpful to you at this time. So it's really talking about, like, you don't have to do this on your own. You also have the universe charm showing up here. I always just feel like this feels like the universe or something. And you have it falling at the base of the tree, which tells me too that this feels like a really lofty goal. It feels like so big, so wide, that you need almost someone to help you pinpoint a direction, to help you get to the next rung. You're like, oh my gosh, it's all the way up there. I can't get there. I have no way. There's no way. There's too many branches. How am I supposed to do this? And if you get some advice from other people, or you take some time to observe your surroundings a little bit closer and taking and chopping it down into one step at a time, I think that that's really important for you as well. And then lastly here, you got the sort of mingling, melting pot charm that shows up here too with this one. It always feels like something is mixing and mingling together. And what you have on Moonwort is that Moonwort is all about trying to find the weak point in not yourself, but in the challenges that you face, right? If we hit a brick wall, yes, the brick wall really sucks, but at the same time, right, there might be little cracks, little fissures, little weak points. There's always weak points in things. And so you can break those barriers by starting there. And so it's like, again, starting from a smaller point, a smaller fissure, just a smaller bit in that is tripping you up in your path, and finding the weak point there to move forward. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 1 rather. So I hope that you found this useful and helpful to you moving forward, and that you have a good month for April. If you did find this reading useful and helpful, definitely be sure to give this video a like. Let me know in the comments down below what you saw and how you interpreted the charms and the cards. I always am curious to hear. And if you're interested in more pick your card readings like this one, I have more on the channel that you can check out, or you can subscribe to see more videos, and hit the notification bell to stay updated of each of these uploads. And if you're interested in getting a deeper reading than this one, diving deeper into other things that you may need some assistance in, then definitely feel free to reach out for the snail mail readings that I do, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It is typewritten on a vintage typewriter from the 1970s, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and is filled with pages and pages of information on your particular question or query, as I love to dive deep into those. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely don't hesitate to reach out through an email or an Instagram DM, and I'm happy to send any more information your way. I also have other offerings that you can check out as well, such as custom magical spell and ritual paper sets, getting your own custom charm casting cloth, or even getting your own custom magical stamps that you can use in your art magic and grimoires designed specifically for you, the sigils that you use, or the particular symbols that you wish to use often. So all of that is down below, or you can send me an email and I'll send you more information. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading here. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this piece of strawberry quartz, then this is the pile for you. As today we're going to be looking into your month of April. We're going to see the biggest and highest energies coming forward, relationship messages, blessings, highest energies, most in your favor, and we're also going to be looking into the charms as well as Aries season. So if you are a Aries out there, happy birthday to you, and if you are not, this is still going to apply to you, as this is going to be something that we all are experiencing. So let's start right on into it. All of the different charms, decks, supplies, all of that will be listed as always down below in the description in case you're curious. But today we're actually pulling out one of the decks that I really love but have had a harder time like connecting with for whatever reason, and suddenly have been getting a better connection with more recently. So maybe it's just the springtime energy, I'm not sure. But the Wisdom of the Pooh Tarot. So we're going to be playing around with this one to start us off. So feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, call in your guides, take a little breath, take a little time for yourself. Even pull out a journal if you'd like to write down information. But we're going to get started here, so send your energy on into the deck, and we're going to pull some cards to see the highest energies and most prevalent energies coming forward for the month of April for you. So group 2, month of April, highest and biggest energies. You have, starting right off strong with the 8 of Swords. Let's see anything else surrounding. One right here, but I'm trying to grab it. Surrounding the cards, you have the Star. And then let's see a final one here. Of the Tower. Okay, so this is kind of a rough one, to be honest. A bit of a rougher month for you. Big foundational shifts and changes happening here that you're very much working through, because here at the center of everything, and I think it's really interesting because it kind of feels like this isn't something that is happening this month, this Tower energy and the Star, but rather surrounding stuff that's happening here. So it's more context driven than like what's gonna happen. Okay, so let me just get my thoughts here. So here at the start, the biggest energy coming forward here for you all is the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords, as you can see, you're kind of in a bind as Eeyore is here. They're kind of bound up, they're kind of stuck in a situation. Not only that, but in a mud puddle on top of that. And so this tells us too that it's like no one here is actually tying us up. No one here is putting us in these binds. It is all coming from within and particular experiences and situations that we've gone through in the past. And I'm not to say that you're wanting to be in this particular situation, but that sometimes our own thoughts, our own experiences from the past trip us up and hold us back from moving forward or from changing the situation. So what I'm seeing here is that like that's kind of the energy you're in, where you're just sort of staying in the same place. You don't feel like you're moving forward. You don't feel like you're moving back. You're just sort of stuck ruminating in the same stuff. This kind of happened in pile number 1 as well, but a different energy towards it. So maybe this is like a energy a lot of people are going through right now. And the energy that has maybe come from the past, or it could be the very, very recent past, something that happened like in March, or something that happened years ago that's just sort of tripping you up now, coming back into your life in some way, a repeat of a situation in a way. You have the Tower, and the Tower represents a big rocking foundational shift. These aren't small little inconveniences. These are the big things. These are the things that really shake us up. And I'm sure I don't need to explain what this is. I feel like if you know, you know. But because you're probably already thinking about it, ruminating on it, you have an idea of what this is in your mind, whether it was a relationship, something to do with your home, finances, money, a particular belief that you're also, I feel like that's something that I think a lot of people don't think about a lot with the Tower card. It can also represent a foundational belief that's changing for us too, an identity shift. These don't always even have to be negative things, but just things that really shake us up, change the core of who we are or how we see the world. And those experiences make an impact. They make a difference. Even if we have help, as you can see, Pooh is maybe not in the center of this blanket, but they're trying, they're putting in the effort to try to catch him. Even if you have the help, even if you have assistance around you, doesn't mean it's not still going to be a difficult situation that you've gone through. And surrounding that also you have the Star, which tells me too that this is a situation that happened in the past. It is tripping you up. It is still in your mind. It is still something that has sort of shaken you. But on top of that, right next to it, is the following card to the Tower, and usually follows the Tower in the tarot deck. is the star. And the star here, I'm feeling really called to this bird. It kind of reminds me of like a little phoenix or something. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it makes me think of a phoenix rising from the ashes. And what better way to see this too, of having like this fiery situation, burning this entire situation down to the core, and having to regrow regrow from the situation, build back up the bricks of that tower, one brick at a time. What a better way to look at this and see the star. And the star represents guidance, right? The stars can guide us places, like an actual star map. Or you can also see the stars too as like our personal guides helping us in this particular situation. So I really feel like for you, this month is all about healing through like past really difficult earth shattering situations that you've gone through, foundation shifting sort of situations, and you're having to kind of revisit those to heal, right? This isn't to revisit them in order to stay stuck, but revisiting them to be like, okay, that really sucked, but we're going to continue to move forward. And the reason why I see this too is because you do have like a little tower chilling over here, which I know is particularly, I think it's like the castle of what's the main character's name? Christopher Robin's little like castle in the tree. But in this case, it really feels to me like a new tower has grown. You know, you've built back up those bricks in a new way. And so when I'm looking at these particular ones all together, it tells me that this is a month of healing for you, healing through those situations, building back up those bricks, building a new foundation, realizing that you already have built a new foundation, and that it may be scary because it's like, once you're at rock bottom and you have to regrow everything, that's scary at the start, but then having to get worried that you'd lose it again is always a scary thing. But if you look at this situation, right, it is a blue sky. The tree is gorgeous. There's no wind in sight. There's no rain in sight. There's nothing here to indicate that there's actually anything new that would be a big threat to you. But, you know, our own worries and fears still creep back in. And so this is a reminder too that there's nothing here to need to be worried about. There's nothing that is externally happening that should bring about any alarm bells, and yet we're still going to feel that I'm stuck, I'm nervous, I'm scared, what would happen if something did happen, you know what I mean? And we'll go through all those what ifs. So I really think your focus this month is to, instead of stay stuck where you've been, rather heal through the particular situation of the past rainstorms that you're kind of still sitting in, and find the ways to kind of secure yourself, to remind yourself that you're secure now, things have changed, you're not where you were, that you can continue to grow one step at a time back towards shelter and safety and a safe place. So I know I focused on these 3 cards a lot, but they had a lot to say. It's a really big energy whenever the tower shows up, especially with the star as well. So I want to pull a card to see what's an energy that's most in your favor this month, right? So if you have any guides that you work with, you can ask them, particularly for a blessing maybe this month. But I do want to see just an energy most in your favor as well. So group, I think it might be this top card actually, and it's the star. Of course it is. So this is really showing like you are going to be healing. It's not easy though. Like we talk about healing like it's this beautiful, wonderful thing. Like it's not hard. It's a walk in the park. But no, I mean healing through anything, a physical or mental or like environmental change, whatever it may be, right? That's never an easy thing to go through. And if you have anyone in your life that's telling you that it should be a walk in the park, like, it's very unfair of them, because it is something that you're navigating right now and you're working through. But the star also represents hope, as well as that navigation, as well as healing, as well as rejuvenation, as well as a new fresh start. And so I really feel like the star, right, also if we think of our own sun, right, it's the bringer of a new day, a new dawn. And I feel like that is also where you are too. And that can be really, really scary because it means you lost something in the process of this tower. There is grief that comes from this tower. There is a sense of a loss of security, safety. But there is still a safety net underneath you. There is still a really clear, beautiful sky in your path here forward. And so it's just following it and seeing where it leads you and trusting in yourself as you go. So let's go ahead and pull a relationship card. So I'm going to look into relationships on the whole here, but if you have a particular relationship in mind that you want to look into, definitely feel free to send that energy forward. But for the month of April, what do relationships look like? What's a big energy or a couple of big energies to keep in mind for April? Joy. Make time for the little things with these little ladybugs here, and release. Lighten your load. Does that not sound like the best? Even with this little wheelbarrow and the idea of like others helping you on the path with this tower tells me too that like you can find a lot of joy as well as a lot of comfort, and like they can help hold the load. So you don't have to do this all alone too, right? If we think about navigation, a lot of the time that is a very collaborative effort. And so I really think that this month it's also to lean on your friends, to lean on loved ones, to lean on trusted people in your life to help you to continue to heal, to lean on professionals as well. And you have joy as well. Make time for the little things with these little ladybugs or ladybirds, however you see them, flying about. And those can represent as well good luck too. And so I really feel like you have some good luck on your side when it comes to your relationships too this month, that you can not only lean on them, but they might also bring good luck and opportunities into your life too that maybe you weren't expecting. So very nice. I want to finish off with Aries season, and Aries season is to me a season of finding your passion, your motivation, your drive. It's also to lead yourself forward, to give yourself your own personal self-leadership, and follow yourself forward. So I want to see how that energy interacts with these particular cards to see the message for you for Aries season. So group 2. The message for Aries season here for group 2. Okay, I want to pull one more. Group 2. The message for Aries season. Okay, so you have 42 in the suit of the winter. You have verbena, I think is how you say it, or vibena. And this is all a really interesting cluster of folks here. And then you also have in the winter 48 with mistletoe. And mistletoe, whenever I see this one, it represents needing to have a ceasefire, to stop the thoughts, to slow it down, to put the swords down, right? To let them rest, to let the thoughts and the anxiety and the nervousness, just let it rest. Give yourself some breaks. And I think that's really difficult, right? When we're in anxiety loops, right? That's a really hard thing to release. But like, because you have friends here, that's a great time to distract yourself, to look at other things, to see a different perspective, to navigate yourself out of the particular path you've been in the past. And verbena also talks about like unlikely companions and connections and friendships being built here. And also like the idea of, right, a deer and a bird here and an eel, I'm assuming. When they all work together, right, this is not what you would expect of company or connections or friendships to be built here, or collaboration. But this is to show you like the unlikely, heroes working together to build a new path. And so when I see these all together, it tells me that like you're going to be collaborating this month with other people to help you release a bit and lighten that load for yourself. That you don't have to do this on your own, that you don't have to be by yourself, that you have other people here that you can lean on, and other people who can distract you to help you heal, to help you grow, to see a different perspective that maybe you didn't see before. To help you put those swords down, those thoughts down, those worries and anxieties down, and to just be present with other people. It's a really nice connection to have to build new connections as well. That can be really helpful because you're seeing things from perspectives you wouldn't get otherwise, and that's really good too. So to seek out connection, but also to seek out hearing their personal experiences and seeing how that can help you all grow together. So I want to pull some charms to finish off your reading and see anything else that we're missing here. So feel free to have a little chit chat with the charms. I will pull some for you. Okay. Ooh. That one wanted to go all over the place. Let's zoom you in. You got a lot showing up here right at the edge of Verbena, which is interesting because I really did feel like this one needed a little bit more information. The one that rolled literally everywhere is the sharp point charm. And this represents feeling like something is really sharp or difficult to deal with, like a thistle in your foot, like a little thorn in your foot that you're constantly having to walk on. And even though you healed from the situation, even though you think you've healed from the situation, you still have that thorn in your foot. You still need to get, we can go through the initial wound, but if we don't take care of ourselves after the big situation happens, whether it's grief, anxiety, nervousness, a big foundational shift, whatever it may be, if we don't take time to have like the aftercare of the situation, it's just going to continue to be a sharp point in your foot for a long while. Before we get into these though, I want to look over here at mistletoe. You do have like a more feminine energy or femme energy. It doesn't have to be that they are woman, but just in general, like a more femme energy coming forward here on the mistletoe. So it could be giving you some context surrounding something you need a ceasefire with, or need to lay down, the swords and the fighting and the sort of knot in your stomach feeling that's happening here. Maybe be surrounded towards that. It also can represent a more feminine or femme related guide that you may have, or spirit that you work with, a more gentle energy, a need for a more gentle energy. And then over here, with the collaboration, you have a much bigger perspective that's happening here, a different perspective with the hot air balloon. I always think of it as like, you're really surveying the land, you're seeing it from a perspective you wouldn't get any otherwise. So it's also that you're gaining a new perspective by collaborating with others and sharing your thoughts. So this could be like a group setting, this could represent therapy, this could represent working with friends and working with a community that you're building there as well, so you can have a different perspective shift than you've had previously on your situation. You also have that you definitely feel insecure and anxious about this as well, because that's showing up here. And then you also have the mistletoe. I think they're holly. They actually are holly, but I always think of it as mistletoe. But either way, it really still kind of connects here of growing in an unlikely place, because when I think of mistletoe and I also think of holly, right, they're the things growing in the depths of winter. So it's also a situation in which you might be feeling like you're like nervous to talk to someone else, or to a different situation or a different place or people or community, but it is going to be one of those things where you're going to grow in an unlikely place. And then over here on the star, you have like a little leftover pipeline, little pipe that's showing up here. And then you also have it showing up with the closure charm of something ending and finishing. And so when I'm looking at this too on the stars, it tells me that you're definitely healing because you want to finish this chapter in your life. You want to finish the pipeline toward it anymore. You want to move forward. And so that's showing up here too. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you for the month of April. And if you did enjoy this and you felt it was useful to you, definitely be sure to give this video a like, maybe hype the video if you'd like to, and let me know in the comments down below how you found this reading. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're interested in any more pick a card readings like this one, I have many more on the channel that you can check out, and feel free to subscribe to see when I post these and hit the notification bell to stay updated. And if you're interested in more of the personal sort of snail mail readings that I do, where I send a letter to you in the mail, it is typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, diving deep into any question or query that you have in mind, then those are perfect for this. I love to do those, and I always encourage you to reach out if you'd like your own personal private reading. And if you're interested in any of the other things that I offer, such as personal spell and ritual paper sets that I can hand make specific to you and your needs, if you would like your own charm casting cloth that's specifically hand embroidered just for you and designed to how you cast your charms, or if you're interested in getting your own custom stamps that I carve and design specifically for you, for the sigils and symbols that you use in your grimoire or your book of shadows or even your planner or however you wish, then definitely feel free to reach out for any or all of those, as I'd love to send more information your way. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for your support here, and I hope that you have a wonderful month of healing and growth and connection for Aries season in April. So with that all said, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this either dyed amethyst or citrine crystal, then this is the pile for you, as today we are going to be exploring your biggest and highest energies and blessings that are coming forward here for the month of April for you. And we're also going to be looking into Aries season to see the energies coming forward there. Regardless of if you are an Aries or not, this is still going to apply to you, as it's something we're all experiencing. But also, if you are an Aries out there, this is probably going to be compounded upon the Aries energy you already bring forward. So happy birthday to anyone who is Aries out there. We are going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks here today, and a tarot deck of the Wisdom of the Pooh Tarot, which I'm very excited to use. It's been very helpful so far, and if you are interested in what I'm using here, all of the information as always will be down below in the description. But feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, comfy for this. I always like to invite you to grab a journal or a little piece of paper as well to sort of write down some information or any insights that you have, and also to use your own intuition as always. But let's go ahead and get started here for the highest and greatest, biggest energies coming forward, most prevalent and important information for the month of April for you. So send your energy on in here, group 3, and let's see. So group 3, the month of April. So you're starting off strong here with the 10 of Swords, which is really interesting because all 3 of the piles so far have had kind of a very intense start. So I'm hoping we'll have something nice surrounding it, but it might just be that this is like a time to release old habits and old things that we're still carrying around, and I feel like that's the energy you have coming forward here too. So it clearly must be a very universal thing everybody is kind of going through right now, which sometimes helps to know that you're not alone in this. Other things showing up here for you, you have the Sun as well as the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so you have a lot of really wonderful, beautiful energies surrounding this ending card. And what's really interesting too is that like you've joy and excitement and childhood like beauty and innocence that comes forward from the Sun card, and then you have over here the Ace of Pentacles of like wanting to grow something new, wanting to build, wanting to plant new ideas and goals and dreams into reality right now. But surrounding all of this joy, all of this potential energy, you have the 10 of Swords. And the 10 of Swords shows little Piglet here, sort of not actually stabbed in any way, but completely surrounded by all of these flying thoughts at them. And so he's sort of just stuck in this particular position. And so when I think of the 10 of Swords, it usually showcases someone who has been stabbed in the back or has been put in a situation in which they are, you know, kind of at rock bottom, sort of, or in a situation where it just feels like very stressful. And what I always like to think of is that this is the last of that. This is like, yeah, you've gone through the hardest bit now, so things should be easier from now. The sun is beginning to rise in the sky here behind Piglet. And so when I look at this, it tells me too that this is going to be the month of slowly healing from this particular situation and letting each of these swords slowly drop and fall back down so you can move forward once again. This is untangling the mess that you've just gone through as well and trying to find the path forward. And I also tend to think of this as like acupuncture in a way, that it's almost like it seems scary and it seems difficult and it seems kind of like counterintuitive, but you tend to feel better anyway somehow. And so this is like slowly releasing a bit of energy as well with each of these swords coming out of the trunk here, and healing from each one at a time, and feeling the release of like, okay, well that's over, it's done, it's settled, the closure has happened, we can move forward now. And that's the energy that I really get here, is that it's like the hard part is over by now. Like by the time you're watching this, the hard part is over, you've gotten through the hardest bits, and now you get to slowly let some of it go and release what you've just recently been through. And in that release, what comes from that release is that you get a lot of sunshine, you get maybe some exposure in a good way, you get a lot of joy, and the sun also can just represent like a radiance, a vitality, a feeling of like working on yourself and kind of bringing some of that energy back towards yourself as well, and having other people sort of celebrate you for that. By having this little brick wall too, it shows that like this is an opportunity for you to also grow again in the safety of other people. So this month really is about kind of healing, growing, and I would definitely say the word release is the biggest thing. To forgive yourself, to forgive another person, to slowly remove yourself from the situation, to let the situation rest, let it die, let it be done, and bury it out, because it's only going to hold you back otherwise. And I really think that you do set to do that because the sun is here, because you want the radiance, because you want to feel the sunshine on you once again. And I also think so with the idea that you're wanting to build after the fact, that you have the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles doesn't mean that you have everything figured out. It's the very beginning of the pentacle suit. It's the very little tiny seedling, the little plant that's growing. But it's an opportunity for you to grow a new garden, have a new seed in mind, a new goal to plant that is unrelated from the situation now. And so that's really nice to see here. And it's almost reflected in that sunshine in both of these, that it's a very joyous, very celebratory action to take, and one that has true potential to grow. So that's what I'm really seeing here for you over this month so far, but I want to look into an energy most in your favor this month. You can also see it as an energy of a blessing from a particular guide if you'd like to as well. But we're going to see something that's a very positive or useful energy for you to have this month. The energy most in your favor, group 3. This is an interesting card to have come forward, especially with like the garden sort of feeling that I get from the Ace of Pentacles, of wanting to grow something new. And so it says, what riches do I carry within with prairie soil? And it says hold here. And it also is in the suit of sort of reclaiming, the reclaim suit, I believe is what it's called. And it's about reclaiming your power after a difficult situation where someone maybe took agency from you, took power from you, took something from you. And now that you've sort of forgiven the situation, you found closure, you're putting it to rest. This is an opportunity for you to look back at your soil that you're growing, your own personal, like, spiritual, mental, physical soil, you know, in like a hypothetical way, that you have around you. That you want to grow something new in. And so because you've gone through this situation, you're only in a better position to be able to have a more informed decision on what you want to grow next, what has potential to grow next for you. Because you've gone through this situation, you know what you want to avoid, you have better information now, you can walk forward with more experience, knowledge, and wisdom from the situation. And so I feel like this is the energy for you, is to really make sure that you continue, like, yes, the situation happened, but how can you now excavate it to be a good thing, a positive thing to help you move forward? And I know that that's really difficult to do, especially when it could have been a very difficult to hold situation, but it also sometimes has, you know, I feel like any situation we go through, good or bad, usually does have some sort of lesson or wisdom or Sure, it maybe wasn't like something we wanted to happen, but it could be something that, we can gain still from. If it happened already anyway, we might as well get something out of it. And I feel like you're like squeezing it for all it's worth. And that's what's going on here with the energy most in your favor. Kind of turning the situation on its wheels and gaining from it as well as healing. So I want to look into relationships now to see sort of the energy of your relationships this month for April, but definitely feel free to send your own energy into the cards here and see what you get for a particular relationship that's on your mind. But let's see, group 3. Relationships for group 3 for the month of April. Relationships for group 3. So you have serenity. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. As well as change and rest. Okay, so most of these are telling you kind of to rest, to slow down. Slow down. You don't have to solve everything today. And change as with falling leaves, embrace change. And so things are changing. Clearly things are changing. We're going from like the blackest sky to the sunniest sun. That's going to be kind of whiplashy. That's going to make you feel that feeling of a big change coming forward. But to embrace that change, like I was talking about earlier, to flip this on its head, to see the positives in the situation, the wisdom that you've grown from the situation is important. But also to rest with others, to feel serene with others, to not try to get a ton done this month. Like everything that we've talked about here, there is potential for things to start growing, but it's not like you have to rush anything. None of this is about rushing or finishing something quickly or starting something new right away. It's just holding space for yourself and having others maybe hold space for you as well to help you rest after this particular situation, and to hold your hand and feel a bit of that serenity, that care, that help, that ease of the situation as well. That release feeling that I talked about earlier. I want to look into Aries season as well and see what's showing up there for you here as well. So Aries season is one that, like I mentioned, all of us are experiencing regardless if you're Aries or not. And it's a season that to me always feels like it's a really good opportunity for us to build our passions, to grow that fire within, that excitement for life, that joy, that passion, that drive, that motivation, and to grow those things. So I want to see what you're motivated in, what energies are coming forward here that is sort of embracing your motivation to move forward. But also, because there's such a gentleness to here, I'm curious to see if there's more of a gentle energy here as well to those cards, to those energies of drive and motivation, right? We think of drive and motivation like it needs to be like a revving engine, but sometimes it's just one step forward on a walk, right? So let's see, group 3 for Aries season. It's coming forward for group 3 for Aries season. You have the Blackthorn. Again, more energy of like something kind of piercing through you, but in this case it feels, like you have your palm open, like you're welcoming it. I want to see what else there is, of course, so we're going to pull another. I'm actually going to take this one with tulip, which I just saw a tulip starting to grow this morning. I was so excited about it. Tulips are such hardy plants that grow in the spring. So you have springtime energy and fall time energy. This could be dependent on if you're in the southern or northern hemisphere, if it's spring or fall coming in for you. That could give you like which indication here for you. I know the seasons are also different there as well for like the astrological seasons, but my point is there's a hardiness to the tulip and there's also a hardiness to the blackthorn, and both of these are showcasing too that like you've kind of hardened after this situation, that things have kind of closed you off from wanting to build something new, right? Like there is this really warm energy from friends and family and people who are supporting you, that serenity, rest feeling. And you also do have the potential for something to grow, but you're having to just sort of slowly take your time to get there as you slowly release yourself from the situation that you've been in, to kind of flip the coin here. But both hawthorn and tulip are very hardy plants. They just feel like they can work through the most difficult and harshest situations, with the flips of the season going on around March and April, of like things wanting to grow but can't because of the snow or the cold mixing with the hot air coming forward. And then blackthorn here as well, showcasing that energy of like being pierced too, and yet you are opening yourself up to the wisdom that comes from that. Both of these are going to help you to grow. So if I would say anything for Aries season for you all, is the like energy of hardiness. The two things that I've seen the three messages coming forward most here for you is hardiness, releasing some of that hardy pressure over time so that you can feel joy again and serenity and rest. So I want to pull some charms to see what else comes forward here too. So feel free to have a little chit chat with the charms, and I will pull some for you to finish off your reading. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. Some of the things, I'm going to put this one off since it fell off of the mat here. You have on the top of the sun, you have the energy of the Tower, which can represent manipulation as well. When I look at this, like manipulation or adapting through a difficult situation. This is, usually I don't get this from this charm, but it just made me think of like adaptability too, because like if you've ever seen trees that like adapt to the wind patterns to the point where they like twist their trunk like this, it makes me think too that you're like very resilient and you're adapting to the sunshine that's coming toward you once again, because you've been in darkness for so long, you've been in the rain for so long, you don't know how to take in a compliment, to take in that serenity, to take in rest, to take in the joy that you can start to feel again. And I think that you're also having to adjust. There's a lot of adjustment there. Other things that are happening here mostly fell here in the center, so it could either relate to everything or is specifically relating to this hold card. You have the number 13 representing an ending, finishing something, because it relates to the death card of completing, closing something off. So again, you're finishing this particular situation, and it's ending, it's done, we're putting it to rest. And that's falling here on the temporary charm too, which tells me too that this is going to be something that like you have to continually allow yourself to rest this situation. That it's also a lot to hold, right? You're still kind of holding on to what had happened, and that takes a lot of time to slowly release yourself from the situation. And it's being gentle with yourself as you move through this, holding space for yourself. Music, auditory related comforts could be really useful to you at this time too. And then you also have the mask charm, and usually when the mask shows up, that means that you have a mask over yourself, you're masking a lot, and you actually have it open, which tells me too that like being vulnerable with music, with your words, with how you speak to other people about this particular situation, not having to hold on to it so tightly, could be a really good opportunity this month to, feel that rest, to let something rest because you shared it with another person, and you're not holding a mask over yourself saying like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's good, and you're like blasting like sad music in the car, you know what I mean? This is like you working through that situation with other people too, and having other people hold space for you. So whether that's people or just feeling connected to some sort of music that's helping you feel like it's holding space for you or helping you to heal, could also be part of this too. So overall, those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 3. All 3 of the piles went through quite big, significant changes, so if you aren't fully feeling this pile, feel free to check out one of the other 2 piles and see how it connects. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, and also if you found this reading useful or helpful, feel free to hype the video or give this video a like, or both. And if you're interested in more pick a card readings like this one, then definitely feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay notified of when I post these videos and other videos on the channel. And if you're interested in the snail mail readings that I provide, where I send a letter to you in in the mail. It is typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and it is diving deep into any question or query or theme that you have going on in your life at this time that you'd think that would be useful to you. Then definitely feel free to reach out, as I would love to send one your way. More information and helpful reviews are over on my Instagram, but you can also check out or send me an email or a DM, and I'm happy to send more information your way. But if you are interested in the other things that I provide, such as getting your own custom set of spell and ritual papers, if you're interested in getting your own custom designed and hand embroidered and sewn charm casting cloth, or if you're interested in getting your own custom designed and hand carved sort of sigils or symbols that you use often in rubber for rubber stamps, then that's something I can do as well for you for your grimoires and your art magic and the like. So if any of that interests you, definitely feel free to reach out, as it helps the channel to continue to grow here, as well as supporting yourself and your magic. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to send more information. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm wishing you the best for your month of April as you move through all of this too, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.